Hi, everybody. Hope everyone's doing well. I just wanted to come on, and I'm sort of inspired to just sit here and speak. I do know there is something I want to speak about, but I wasn't quite sure how to really dive into it. And as usual, Spirit helped me out because I'm continuing with my psychotic research of old Spirit teachings. And I'm reading and marking now this amazing book, and as you can see, it's completely falling apart. You can buy it. Actually, I think it's been reprinted, but I just love old spiritualist books. It's Red Cloud Speaks, and Red Cloud was the spirit guide of an amazing medium, Estelle Roberts, who I believe passed in the 80s. There are a lot of amazing spirit teachings in there. So I read two passages, and it sort of helped me sort of go into this video. Okay, so I'm working with a lot of people, I'm speaking with a lot of people just about how do they move into and away from being like the practice medium, the student medium. Though we're always students, we're always learning, we should always work on our development. That doesn't end. We're always learning, we're always students, and the teachers are the spirit world. But how do you move from just being in your development circles, from taking classes, from practicing readings with your circle members into semi-professional, professional readings, and really moving out to do what I believe the spirit world wants us to do, which is to be of service, to be their ambassadors here in the physical world, to be their voice. As I've said many times before, we are the voice for the voiceless. They have no power in this physical world, spirit, without us. So how do you move into being of service? Of course, sitting in circles and working on your development and unfolding in the proper way and working on your foundation, that is part of service, because you're learning how to move forward with a stable and firm foundation, which is really important. Okay, so I'm not saying don't leapfrog over the development, but you'll know when you're ready. Spirit will let you know when you're ready to start going out and moving away from just working with mediums and working with civilians, non-mediums, and maybe starting to do inspired speaking, mediumship readings, healings, all these things, because that's being of service. We're spreading the light. We're spreading the light from God and the spirit world into the physical world. They need us. They need our help. But I'm finding a lot of people, they get stuck. They get stuck about here. And I think a common problem is that they're just waiting for spirit and waiting for God. Help me move into working as a professional medium, healer, trance medium, evidential medium, it doesn't matter. Help me move into that world of working with spirit full time and away from my 9-to-5 job. I also had a 9-to-5 job for about 30 years, and I loved it, but slowly it stopped bringing joy, and there was no bliss in it. And I knew I had to move into working full time with spirit. Was it scary and hard? Yes, it was. It was. But it's really within the uncomfortable that growth occurs. And I do believe you have to have faith and trust in the spirit world and in God that they will help you. Of course, you do it in slow steps. Of course, you maybe can move, maybe not doing 100% of your daily job, and do 90%, and then 80%, 70, 60, 50, and just have to have the faith and work a deal out with the spirit world. I will do this. I will be of service, but you have to provide, and you'll see they will. But it takes faith and courage. Okay, so the point of showing you that Red Cloud book, there is a point, I promise you, there is a method to my madness. As I read this in, I actually quoted it out already, so I'm going to read it from my screen because I can't go through this whole book. It's going to fall apart. Red Cloud, from Red Cloud Speaks. He talks a lot about biblical passages and the power of God and prayer. So one thing he said, which I really liked, and this has sort of helped me dive into this video, one of the truths we are going to teach you from my world is that you can have all the prayers said for you for hours and hours and hours, but it won't help you one bit in my world unless you help yourselves. Okay, boom. That to me helped me sort of formulate what I wanted to talk about. We need to help ourselves. It's a partnership between the spirit world, God, and us. We need to take that step forward to have them take to have them move closer to us. So as they move closer to us and we move closer to them, we meet. But we can't just sit there and say, please help me work on my development, help me find the courage and strength to get out there and be a professional medium healer, and not do anything. We have to take that step towards them as they take their step towards us, and then we meet. We need to sometimes take that first step out of trust and confidence in them. I do believe that. I do believe that they don't, I don't want to say require, because I don't think they're really waiting for us to really be tested. But I do believe that a lot of times they wait for us to take that step, because we're in the material world. We have all these things around us that a lot of times we covet, right? Money, comfort, safety. Look, I'm not saying you don't have to worry about rent, insurance, mortgages, food, providing for your family. I get that. That's fine. But I do believe that Spirit will provide if we take that step of faith and courage towards them. So be brave with your desire to be of service to the spirit world. Just see if you can start working, even just on the weekends then at first, or in the evenings. I know you'll be tired, but I know there might not be a lot of time to rest, but it really does take that effort on our part. And then you'll see, then the power starts being placed from the spirit world and God where we should go. That I know. If you just start just saying, okay, I'll do practice readings on the weekends, and maybe then once I do all the practice readings, maybe people will start saying, hey, you're really good. Can I send my sister to you, my cousin to you, my brother, my father, my friend, whatever. That's the way it works. It's sort of like an object in motion stays in motion. You want to stay in motion. You can't just sit there and say, please help me, but I'm just sitting in my living room doing a development circle once a week. You know, it's good to do the circle. It's good to work in your foundation. You have to, and your development, but you also need to then at some point say, I'm ready to go out and be of service and work. Okay. So that's sort of the point of this video. There's one other quote that I found. Let me see if this fits in well. Like I said, you get into the cycle. I want to get out and work, but I can't get out and work because I have to make money and I have to stick to the job that I have, and I have a degree, but I want to be of service, but I'm nervous and I'm afraid. And it just goes on and on. And the other quote that I knew I needed to do this video, also from Red Cloud, he talks about just the effort. Okay. And we can get into this vicious cycle. And so it starts with a question. He says, when are you going to start? When are you going to release yourself from that cycle which holds you in that rut? You are like the man who dug in a ditch to earn his food, to gain his strength, to dig in a ditch, to earn his food, to strengthen his body, to dig in a ditch again. Okay. So I find the physical world, the material world, can get us into this sort of mindless cycle of just earning, living, going. And we really tend to not pay attention to our spiritual side. We're just thinking about earning money. We're just thinking about surviving. We're just thinking about providing. Okay. So you can get into a rut. You're making money to live, of course, but what are you doing with it? What are you doing with the life that you're living? Are you being of service? Are you helping? Are you helping humanity by being that clear vessel, that conduit to God and the spirit world to work through you? So my hope, look, we've been in quite a dark and challenging time, I feel, for about 6 years. Okay, we're coming from one thing to the other, and the world seems like it's getting darker. I believe it's also becoming lighter because it's not a coincidence. There's so many people having a spiritual awakening at this moment. There's so many people interested in healing. There's so many people interested in trance mediumship. I'm seeing, only because I'm a trance medium. So a lot of them, I'm seeing this interest peak up. So I do believe that the spirit world sort of channel the light and channel the strength in dark times. I think we need the dark times to be able to see the light. I do believe that there's no coincidences in the spirit world, but it is challenging at the moment. I get that, but we need to keep staying in the light and just allow ourselves to be inspired by the power of spirit, by the power of God, to want to bring light into the world, to want to help people. It is a dark period, like I said, but I do believe we're also building armies of ambassadors to the spirit world here in the physical world, in the material world. We're really working with a lot of people to help them find their light, find that spiritual truth, that we are all parts of God in this world, and we're here to help each other. We're here to love each other. We're here to support each other. But we have to know that, and we have to have the courage and the strength to move forward on our goal and not get distracted by life's cycle of just earning money, working on your ego, all these things, perhaps living in these negative thoughts that we're sort of conditioned by, not being good enough, not being worthy, not wanting to be seen, being afraid to speak out. Okay, so we have to do the self-healing as well. I've talked about self-healing enough, I believe. And listen to what the spirit world is telling you. Ask them, how can I be of service? How can I do more? You have to do more as well, but you can ask them and they will help you. I'm going to share my story about how I moved from a student. I'm still a student. We're always students, but from just sitting in circles and taking mediumship classes and doing development classes and all that. How I moved from there to working as a medium, and I'm incredibly grateful. I'm incredibly humbled, but I know that I worked really hard to do this, and I just had the courage and the faith to do it. Okay, so years ago, way before Zoom, there were like a few Facebook mediumship, like practice mediumship groups that were up, and I was taking classes a lot in the States, but mostly in England and in Scotland, and having a good time. Had some great mentors, and just did practice readings, set up a lot of practice readings, had circles, things like that. But I really felt the push. Now you need to go out. Now you need to get out there and work. Start working. And I basically didn't know how to do that. I was very willing and happy, like I said before, to really move away from my old career, which I did for many years, but it was far too stressful and really didn't bring me any joy anymore. And I felt like I got to where I wanted to get. So I was looking for something new. And I just started sitting in the power of spirit, sitting in the presence of the spirit world, and really asking them this question: how can I move from here to start working? And I've told this before in the classes that I do, but all of a sudden, like a thought, and it was an inspiration thought, and I can tell the difference between my own mind and the spirit energy and spirit inspiration. I got, and it was really loud. It was do 100 readings. And I remember coming out of the meditation, and I just was like, what? 100 readings? I've done hundreds of readings. What do you mean do 100 readings? Do 100 readings for what? Charge for 100 readings? That was it. Just do 100 readings. That's all I got. And I really didn't understand what that meant. So I sort of, embarrassingly enough, I brushed it aside, and I'm like, well, that can't be what I'm supposed to do. I'm not hearing what I want to hear. I want to hear that I'm ready and you should be a professional and you should go, but do 100 readings? What does that mean? So I sat again. I'm a big meditator. I love it. I love sitting in the presence of the spirit world. I love sitting in the presence of my own spirit and God. So I meditate anyway every day, but I still ask this question. I kept asking this question: how can I be of service? How can I progress out of just practicing into getting out there and helping people? And I heard it again, do 100 readings. And this kept happening. And I got really frustrated. I started to get really annoyed. It's like, what does this mean? Do 100 readings. And then finally I started to see, and I believe they were showing me a vision. It was like just a journal, 100 reading journal book. And it was like, I could see 1 of 100, 2 of 100, 3, 4, 5, and just writing how the readings went, how I felt going into the reading, where the reading came from, what I learned from the reading, what I got in the reading, what it was successful because, it wasn't successful because. It was like a whole like dissection of dissecting the readings in this book. And then it started to become clear that I'm going to keep being shown do 100 readings. And now they're showing me a tool of what I'm supposed to do with these 100 readings, what I'm supposed to learn from them. Just do it. So on the few mediumship Facebook groups that I was a member of back then, I remember writing summer of 100 readings, because I believe this was in May. I'm committing myself to doing 100 readings this summer. Let me know if you're available. And like I said, there wasn't any Zoom yet, I believe. So I think I was doing it over Facebook Messenger video or Skype. And I just started to do them. And I started, as soon as I put that post up, people like, I want one, I'll do one, thank you. Of course, not charging, just doing them. And I just sort of put my ego aside, because I had done hundreds of readings by then. And I just started to do them, do the 100, do the 100. And I kept this readings journal book, 1 out of 100, 2 out of 100, 3, 4, 5. And I wrote down my impressions of these readings, how I felt before the reading, how I felt after the reading. I rated them, like, 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10, 8 out of 10. What I got, what I didn't get, what surprised me, what was new, how this reading felt different, how the sitter was, but really I really fleshed out the experience from the reading. And I just kept doing them. I did them all summer, and I started to put everything in my calendar, and I never used the calendar really for my mediumship at all. And the calendar really started to fill up, and I heard this is what your calendar will start to look like if you commit to doing these 100 readings. And I just like let it go at that point. I just did them. And honestly, I don't even know if I ever got to the 100 readings, the 100 mark. I think I got to like 70, and I was having a good time with it. And it really kept me busy, because I was doing something with the spirit world every day. And I was sitting in the presence and the energy of spirit every day, 1 or 2 readings a day. And I got to like I said, about the 70 mark. And then it started. Then people who I did the readings for, most of them were fine. Obviously, they weren't all great, but I think they went quite well, and spirit did a good job. Then it started. Then people said, this was a great reading. Can I send my sister to you? How much do you charge? Can I send my brother to you? Can I send my friend to you? And then I realized the point of the 100 readings was not the number 100. It was me making the effort just to trust the spirit world and have confidence, just to listen to them and believe in them. And even though I didn't understand why I was doing it in the beginning, the evidence started to become clear to me. I was doing it to see if I just committed myself and sat in the energy of spirit every day, how that would help me. That was also a big part of the lesson. But the big lesson for me was just to trust. Even if I didn't understand why, I trusted. So that's kind of like my 100 mediumship reading story, which a lot of people that resonates with. I think you just have to commit yourself to something. I will do this because I really want to help the spirit world and be of service. I will listen to you. Whatever they're telling you to do, just do. Of course, you might not understand it. You might be your insecurities might pop up. Well, I can't do that. I have to work. Well, I can't do that. I'm not a full-time medium. I'm an art director. I'm a doctor. I'm whatever. I'm an accountant. That's not what I'm trained to do. But what you're trained to do and what you are 2 different things. Actually, my guy just popped in and said, actually, what you're trained to do is you're trained to be the voice of God in the spirit world here in the physical world, which makes sense. What we call career, that's not what we are. That's just what we're being told we should be. Okay, thank you. But yeah, so just remember that. I like that. It's not what we are is not what we went to school for, in a way, like degrees and things like that. Of course, we want to go to mediumship classes. We want to go to mediumship school if we can afford it and we have the time, but you don't need that. You can also just learn from the spirit world. Okay, so, okay, that was a long video. So yes, just have the faith and trust and confidence in the spirit world, but also in yourself. Be confident that you are here to be of service to humanity and the spirit world and God here now in this physical manifestation, which we're all living in at the moment. And yes, we all did choose this time. Don't know why still, but, and just listen to spirit inspiration. Ask them to inspire you. But when you start hearing things, don't brush it aside. Well, I can't do that. That's crazy. No, that's not what I want. That's too much out of my comfort zone. No, 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 I need to do this. But listen to them and they will help you. And you will see, if you just listen to the inspiration and love and energy from the spirit world, they will take you out of being just a practice medium and start moving you into the semi-professional, professional realm, whether it be evidential mediumship, trance mediumship, healing, it doesn't matter. Okay, so, but have the faith and trust in yourself, first of all, and the faith and confidence in God and the spirit world, and they will help you. Okay, so I hope that helped people. Usually when I do these inspired videos, they seem to resonate with people. So let's hope so. If not, I apologize for the rant, and I will see you all soon. Have a lovely day. Bye.